So today I want to talk about a lady street legend, Odessa Madre. We know that everybody can't sing, dance, but your dreams are most importantly only as big as you let them be. Death becomes you, and nobody sees the value in your death or of you because you didn't leave them anything. With this being the end of Black History Month, just know it's always a good time to read up on the people that came before us, what they went through, and most importantly, what they put themselves through. Odessa had a choice, like greats that were born in the early 1900s as well. Black men and women. Ruby Jean Butler, born March 3rd, 1900, American actress. Etta Moulton Barton, born November 5th, 1901, American actress and vocalist, among other roles she played in charity and civic active work. Frederica Washington, born December 23rd, 1903, civil rights activist, film actress, writer, among other things. The first person of color to gain recognition for film and stage work in the 1920s and 30s. The last person that I will mention right now is Calloway. Cable Calloway III, born December 25th, 1907, American jazz singer, dancer, band leader, and actor, among other greats that I could mention. What I can say about living in and coming from Washington, D.C., we know that everybody can't sing, dance, or even have a thing for the blues, basketball, or sports as a whole. But your dreams are most importantly only as big as you let them be. If you limit yourself, you will never leave your area. You will never think of the impossible as possible. And unfortunately, some of the people with the biggest hearts lose it all. Odessa's demise came after almost 2 to 3 decades of living lavish, taking care of those around her, and sitting on an impressive empire off of the illegal sale of alcohol. She rose in riches in a very depressing time. Prohibition eliminated thousands of jobs for barrel workers, truckers, waiters, and other trades relating to the legal sale of alcohol. The demise of Ms.Odessa's empire started in 1952. A committee cracked down on corruption, and all the free passes Odessa got from the police she paid, that was exposed. As a result of this committee cracking down on the police department, Odessa's under-the-table payments to police were revealed. Starting in 1932, she was arrested around 30 times with no charges sticking, and her not landing in prison until 1961. In 1961, she was arrested with an ounce of cocaine. So from that, we can see that through the decades, she did try to adapt to the times. Alcohol was, prohibition was over for everybody, once it was 1950 and on. So she moved on to cocaine, it looks like. She did 7 years in prison as a result of that arrest. She had a little bit of time, almost about 10 years out of the slammer, before she landed right back in it. She was arrested again in 1975 on a gambling charge. During her last stint in prison is when her people on the outside began to take advantage of her riches. She lost her house, businesses, and all of her money. Once released from her 1975 arrest, Odessa retired from the streets altogether. And after all the love she showed over the decades, all the people that knew her name, all the people that quote unquote loved her, it was nothing to show for it by the time of her death. Odessa passed away in 1990 at the age of 83. From what would have roughly been $1.6 million plus today, Odessa died penniless, without a dime to even bury herself. Those who came up with or around her, and those that kept the love for her, did their best in raising money towards her funeral, and they were able to scrape up around $51. Even so, Ms.Odessa's family didn't claim her body for 8 days. A funeral home owner stepped in and helped Odessa get buried. So I think that this is a prime example of the saying, the streets don't love you. I think that when you have something to show for it, or a lot to show for it, you mean a lot to people, you know. And once that starts to slow down, the number of people that was around you before diminish, your riches diminish, people start stealing from you in your lowest points, and they might think that you can build that back up, or you have more somewhere else, and that's not the case. We was never taught to really save money, you know. And if you grew up in an alright situation and you don't know how to live humbly once you get older, this unfortunately is how it goes. It's sad to know that she didn't have enough to bury herself. After all of the fur coats and, you know, stepping out with bodyguards, having money to pay police a year, you know what I'm saying? Payroll means by the month, by the week, all that. You know what I'm saying? They getting paid. It was also said that she helped the boosters out by buying all that they stole, wrapping it up real nice, and taking it to the kids that was less fortunate in the neighborhood and stuff. So to have a heart like that and to die with nothing, I can only imagine how that made her feel. You know, maybe it takes you getting that much and acquiring that much, having an actual empire, to being forced. And we talked about this being forced, but being forced to be humble. You know, prison stint after prison stint ain't nice on the body, mind, spirit, or nothing. So to have to be forced to live humbly was something that probably was Ms.Odessa's karma. I think of the illegal sale of alcohol just as, you know, drug sale too, because I could think of the 1920s and 30s as, you know, wartime. A lot of people was being laid off of their jobs. The Great Depression started in 1929. So I feel like she got rich off of a lot of people being sad, depressed, without, you know, gaining these addictions to alcohol. Alcohol that probably really fucked them up, because I mean, I don't even know how they was making, you know, whiskey and all that under the table like that. That had to be very dangerous, hazardous to drink and things like that. So I mean, it's a commonality that she got rich off of the backs of the Great Depression and prohibition, and, you know, a really dark and sad time for a lot of people. Slavery, you know. And to be forced to live humbly, I think that's only right, that's only fair. You know, I wish a lot of people did show her love, you know, in death, because that's something that she would have seen too. But I think that souls can see as well, and that within itself has to be humbling, to not see many people at your funeral, or, you know, the people that came and crying, they not thinking of it in, you know, a way of love. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, I could have got this, I could have got that. So It's a shame that she had to go out like that. She did live a full life. 83 is pretty impressive.